Hello, in this video, we will begin to introduce arrays in chapter 7. Suppose you need to read 100 numbers, compute their average, and determines how many numbers are above the average. First, your program reads the numbers and it computes their average, then compares each number with the average to determine whether it is above the average. To accomplish this, the numbers must all be stored in variables. Using the examples from the previous chapters, you have to declare 100 variables and repeatedly write almost identical code 100 times. Writing a program this way would be impractical. So how do you solve this problem? The answer is to use array. So we're going to use array in this chapter. We're going to introduce array. Array is a data structure that can hold a bunch of data. You can use one array name to reference all the elements in the array. So you don't have to declare 100 elements. You declare one array and put the 100 elements into the array. This chapter will introduce single-dimensional arrays. Next chapter will introduce two-dimensional and multi-dimensional arrays. To declare array using this syntax, this is the array name with the fixed size, and this is the element type for the elements in the array. This size is known as the array size decorator. It has to be a constant or an expression that results a constant. So that is, for example, here, we're going to declare my list is an array of 10 elements. Each element is of the double type. Now you can use the index to reference the elements in the array. So you can assign a value to the array like this using the array name brackets index. So this are the examples to assign data to all the 10 elements in the array. So please note that the first index is 0. So the last index will be 9 because we have total 10 elements. Look at this figure. We have this my list is 10 element of the double type, and those are the elements value, and this is my list brackets 5. So please note that the size has to be a constant. So this is not a constant, and this is a variable here. You have to use a const here. So you can declare this const is a constant, and this will be all right. You can also declare multiple arrays using this syntax. Element type is the same. So this is the array name 1, and brackets the size 1, this is size 2, this is size n. So here is example. This is list 1, and this is list 2. So this is all the double type. Now accessing array elements through the index. So this is the element at the specified index for this array. Here you can use the this my list bracket 0 plus my list brackets 1 and assign the result of addition into my list 2. So my list, this is like an array. This element here, it's like just a variable. So it is also known as the array index variable. So this is for one element. And you can use plus plus on one element here. And this is here, get the max between the two elements. So using the max function, this is to assign I, so from I is from 0 to 9 into my list brackets I. So please note that what happens if you get the index out of bounds. So you have only 10 elements starting from index 0. So what happens if you have this index is 10 or the index is -1? So this will cause out of bounds error. Out of bounds is a serious error. Unfortunately, the C++ compiler does not report it. Sometimes it does. It's just unpredictable. So be careful to ensure that array indexes are within bounds. You can initialize array using array initializer. So this is the array initializer syntax. So this is the 4 elements assigned to my list. This 4 here, this is the same as assigning all the elements individually. So you declare this is my list with 4 elements, so you can assign the elements. And you have, when you use array initializer, you have to put it all together. So this would be wrong. So you have to put all this together in one line. Now, this 4 can be omitted. C++ compiler automatically will figure out, and this is the 4. Now, if you have only 2 elements, but this size is 4, what happens? Now the rest is going to initialize to 0. So if an array is declared, but no values are assigned explicitly for this number array, and all the values are unpredictable, so they're kind of garbage. Let's look at the processing arrays. We have a number of examples here. So let's assume this is my list, this is the array, and this is the size 10, array size. So we write this code to prompt the user to enter all the elements and send the elements to the array, my list. And this is to initialize the array and with random values. This is to print the elements in the array. So this is the copy the array. So you have this 2 array, list and my list. You copy my list to list. So the contents from my list is copied into list. Now, looks like this is okay, but you are going to have a problem. So now, if you run the program using this, and it looks fine, but it's actually not correct. So here in C++, this is not allowed. If you copy, you have to write a statement like this to copy individual elements. So we're going to talk about this in the future, why it's not right. When we get to the chapter 11, introducing pointers, we know that array name is actually a pointer, it's a constant pointer, so you cannot assign to a constant. So this code is to sum all the elements in the array. So this is to find the largest element in the array. So this is to find the smallest index of the largest element in the array. So here is, this is random shuffling. So the random shuffling works this. So we're going to have this set to this random number generator, the seed to be a random number. So here we're going to use ret. So what we do is, so this is what the values we have. So how do you get a random shuffle all this? So we're going to pick this random j. So let's look at this animation here.
The statement sets a random seed and create an array with int values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I is initialized to 0. The condition, I is less than array underscore size, is tested. It is true in this case. Check your understanding. What will be a possible integer for j after this statement is executed? Enter the smallest possible integer, a space, and the largest possible integer.
So this right here, the array size here is 6. So this ret generates a random integer. Remember 6, you're going to have a number from 0 to 5.
You are correct. J is a random integer between 0 and 5. In this sample run, the random integer is 4.
It's 4. So now you have a j and you have this I here. So you're going to swap the element right here at I with the element at j.
Swap list I with list j.
So that's what happens. So this continues, and you're going to randomly shuffle all this things. And so that's just a shuffle randomly. And you're going to have this for every I, and you're going to have a random j and shuffle it with that element at I. So the next program is shifting. This is all the elements here. You're going to shift it to the left, and the first one is now put it back to the last element. So this is like a circular shifting. And so please look at the animation and see how this works. And this, now we're going to do a lot of this now, is to simplify coding using arrays. For example, now remember this, we write this program to look at the month number is 1. So we're going to display the month is January, and for 2, the month is February. You can write many of this 12 else, if, else if, else if, else if. Now you can simplify it, put all the month name right here in the array. So this is the string, and every element in the array's month is string. So there's January, February, and December. Prompt the user to enter a month number from 1 to 12. So now we enter it. And now what is the month name? Is month brackets month name minus 1. So if it's 1, and that's January. So month brackets 0 is January. So this is much simpler. You can also use for each loop to process all the elements in an array. So in this for each loop, you don't have to use an index. So it reads for every element in my list. The element type is double, so we're going to display it. So it is actually better if you just want to traverse all the elements. It doesn't involve any index. So if you index, sometimes you have a programming error, index out of bounds. And if you don't use an index, so this you're not get this kind of index out of bounds error. That is all for this section on array basics. See you on the next video.